Welcome to Windows on the World. Following on from our show, Climate Change Hoax Over, we have some updates. I'm sure there'll be many more. This is from the Sunday Mail on the 12th of February. It states, the 2015 Paris Agreement imposes giant burdens and its effects are felt on every household in the country. Emissions pledges made by David Cameron would cost British consumers a staggering $319 billion by the year 2030. Almost 3 times the annual budget of the NHS in England. Now, that's not the end of it. Taxpayers also face an additional hefty contribution to an annual $80 billion in climate aid from advanced countries to the developing world. That is on top of our already gargantuan aid budget. Green levies and taxes already cost the average household more than £150 a year each household. So, Piers, you have some updates. You've written this new leaflet.
Well, absolutely. I think on the point of that amount of money, it's amazing, isn't it? This was imposed by a completely undemocratic international operation called the Paris Agreement. And we have another ballot on it. Imagine if we went round with a vote for or against you being robbed by 319 billion plus 80 billion, right? Okay, 400 billion. Would there be a yes vote for that? I think.
Well,
not.
no, there wouldn't. But of course, as we already know, the science is settled, isn't it?
Right.
So that must be
brings
why.
me to what I want to say.
Yeah.
Yes, this article was associated with another revelation of another insider jumping ship and deserting the lie machine of Noah, which he was part of. Okay. And I think it's fair to say now that globalization is now in terminal crisis. I mean, apart from all the issues of borders and migrants, which have caused U-turns and chaos in Europe, the fundamental, and it is a fundamental ideological backup for globalization, i.e. man-made climate change, is on the rocks. Because this is the linchpin of deindustrialization, of taking jobs elsewhere, of unnecessary taxes on all your energy bills, which amount to about 1/3 of energy bills. And that is going to end. It is terminating. So, really, we have to go to all the institutions and the politicians with basically two questions. And I'll read these actual questions, which I think, well, words to this effect should be put. We should say to scientists and academics, now that the fake science of man-made climate change is completely shredded and its fraudulent apparatus is about to be destroyed, thanks to President Trump, in terms of the UN IPCC, will you, this is any organisation, now abandon the shameful scam and restore evidence-based science to the forefront of scientific endeavour? And what measures should be taken against those guilty of scientific fraud? Because look, if this was stuff in economic circles or business circles or limited company circles, people go to prison for this sort of fraud. So why shouldn't these scientists go to prison? This question has to be asked. And I think that some institutions, some universities will jump ship. They'll give it up. And those institutions which are first to give up the scam will get massive support around the world. And they'll find the brightest students want to join them. So, they've got to think. They've got all sorts of people holding them back, but somebody is going to jump first.
Yeah. This is a very big thing in the academic community, though, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And this is what we found out with our alternative climate change conference, which was kicked out of UCL.
That's right.
And then had to go to Conway Hall.
Take Imperial College, where we had a conference there. We weren't banned. This was in 2008. So, I know there's people in there who know it's a con. Okay. A lot of people believe it, I've no doubt. But there's a lot there who know it's a con. And when they can see the bread is buttered on the other side, then, the logical thing is to jump. And, of course, that'll upset the politicians totally. Because if academics start jumping, then the so-called proof and support from academia is gone. So what have the politicians got left? And I think the same question has to be asked them. Now that this ideology is trashed, what are you going to do? Will you formally abandon this scam and therefore reverse all these anti-carbon measures? So you're going to have to reduce electricity bills by a third. You're going to have to stop supporting nuclear power, which is very expensive and quite possibly dangerous in certain instances. But it's been promoted in the name of saving the planet because of less CO2. So a whole lot of things have to change. And if they are changed, the public will win. If you go to the public and say, we're going to reduce your electricity bills now by 1/3, who's going to say no?
Exactly. Well, that's a good place to leave it for this particular update, and there's going to be plenty more in the weeks to come, I hope. So we're just exposing here, along with the press, the Daily Mail, in fact, how world leaders were duped over global warming. It's now out in the open, so the debate is up to the public. See you soon on Windows on the World.